Hi everyone, good afternoon. This is Jackie here, and welcome to Irish Wedding Chat and our follow-up interview with Mercy Bash of Mercy Events. And I'll just bring her on screen. Hello, Mercy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, darling. How are you?
Very good, very good.
Excellent, excellent. I'm just trying to bring this up. For some reason, it won't come up on my phone, so
Okay,
we'll
that's
let it
fine.
go.
That's okay.
Let it
Yeah,
go, and see
that's
what
okay.
happens.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Hope you're having a good day anyway.
Yeah, at least the weather is good. A little bit all
Yes,
over the
it's
place
much
today,
better.
but
Yeah,
otherwise good. Yeah, yeah. And
good.
yourself?
Yeah, very good day. Yeah, yeah,
Excellent, excellent.
yeah.
So before we kind of just rush on into the interview and stuff,
Yeah.
Mercy, tell me, did you enjoy your time as our guest yesterday on the Twitter
I
chat?
really did. Oh my goodness, I really did. Thank you so much for having me. It was very interactive. It was quite interesting and a lot of fun actually, just to talk about what has been going on because a
Yeah,
lot of us have been busy in the background, but we haven't spoken about it. We haven't really spoken about it in a group to say what is Ireland going to be like post-COVID. So we've just kept going really, and
yeah.
adjusted to the life. So it was actually quite interesting to chat about it yesterday. So thank you very much. That was
Oh,
really great.
you're more than
Yeah,
welcome, and I thought the conversation was really, really on topic, especially with
yeah,
like the numbers of
absolutely.
weddings or
Hmm.
other guest lists, and
Yes,
the
yes,
areas
yes.
that we actually covered. I thought that was really, really cool.
Very true,
Oh,
very true.
Tobia Bashu, I can't
Yeah,
pronounce.
that's true. It's fine.
I'm so
Just say
sorry.
bash. It's easier to just say to be bash. That's what everybody calls me.
Okay, that's your husband, is it?
Yeah.
Hello, Mercy's husband. Oh, he says, you both look great. Isn't that
Oh.
wonderful? Oh, thank you. So, Mercy, I'm going to go off screen for a second
Okay.
and allow
Yeah,
you to let everybody know what you do
yeah.
and how you can help them. Okay, so I'm just
Okay,
going
that's
to
fine.
take myself.
That's okay. All right. So my name is Mercy Bash, and I am the co-founder and also the wedding director at Bashley Event. Bashley Event is a wedding planning business with over 10 years experience that we've been at it, planning weddings and events, both corporate milestone parties. We love celebrating love. So we love celebrating what you celebrate. And what we do is that we work with our clients and we bring their vision to life. So whatever it is that your idea of your big celebration or your wedding is, we would come in and we would make sure everything runs smoothly according to your budget, according to what your ideas and your plans are. That's what we do. We are based in Cork in Ireland, but we also cater for events and weddings all over Ireland. We also specialize in wedding ceremonies or any types of ceremonies of different religion, different tradition, different culture. I'm originally from Nigeria and I've been living in Ireland for 18 years. And some of the crew actually, they're very polycultural in a lot of ways. So we're used to different cultures and different religious ceremonies, and we have great experience in that, and we specialize in that as well. So we're very versatile in what we do and the sort of wedding ceremonies that we coordinate and plan.
Lovely introduction.
Thank
Well
you.
done, Mercy. You mentioned there that that you work with all different types of religions and
Yeah,
cultures and
yeah.
things like that. Can you go into that a little bit more depth? How do you allow for working with people from, say, different backgrounds?
Okay. So what it is that one thing we definitely believe is that, especially for weddings, so I'll use weddings as an example.
Yeah.
When it comes to weddings, we at Bachelor Events, we really believe it is your day. So it's all about the client and the guest. And we tend to become everything that they want us to become on their day. And for example, like if I was going into a Muslim wedding and I was coordinating the ceremony, I would have my head covered. I'll do all the right things that I should do at the ceremony and also understand what they require of us as a team because we usually we work as a team. So we would go into it, understanding what the client wants and where they want us to be. So we have we're quite experienced in that sense where we get used to it. You know, it's like if I was coordinating a wedding for Pakistani, it would be very different compared to an Irish wedding, you know, because the cultures are miles apart. Or if I was coordinating a wedding for a Nigerian, it'd be very different to an American wedding. So it's like understanding what the client wants, getting to know the person behind all of this, and stepping into their shoes. Because for weddings, it's your day, it's not my day. I'm just there to make your dreams come true, to make it a stress-free day for you, a stress-free celebration. So that's what we tend to do, is like we're very much adaptable in that sense. And because our team is made up of different people from different cultures, and based on our experiences as well, it really helps to navigate around things. So I know if I have a wedding that has to be led by a Muslim, I have a lead person there who is like, okay, you tell me, am I doing this right? Am I not doing this right? You know, and it has worked well over the years as well. And if it's a Christian, if we're going to a Catholic church, it's very different if I'm going to a Pentecostal church, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. Emma says it sounds really cool. I think it sounds really cool as well. And especially in this day and age, we have so many more cultures and religions and traditions than we did have, say, when I moved to Ireland, which was like 30 years ago. There wouldn't be so much cross-cultural weddings, or you know, even like gay weddings would never have been heard of. Like, you know,
I can
imagine. Things have really changed. So it's really good to know that we have people.
It's the same. Like if I was planning a gay wedding, I wouldn't be going like, oh, you have to go to a Catholic church or whatever. Like it's whatever you want to do. Like really.
Whatever they want, That kind of brings me on to a question for you. Mercy, it actually picking up from yesterday's Twitter chat, which was fantastic. What do you think with the numbers being restricted? How do you think couples would actually reduce the numbers without offending anyone?
Okay, so honestly, I believe it would be the same. Like right now, we can only have 50 indoors from Monday, and then in about a month that kind of doubles up. So one of the best ways that I advise couple is to prioritize. So I feel as if like right now we have to have smaller weddings and smaller events based out of necessity and by choice. So is everything okay?
Yeah, I've got a call coming.
Oh, okay. All right. So in terms of reducing numbers, it really depends on the couple. It really depends on the people behind the event. So you have to prioritize now based on what you want. My question would be, who are the most important people that you want to be at your wedding? And when you take it from there, it's very easy to like work downwards. And the good thing also about technology and the times that we live in now is that a lot of people can join your wedding ceremony. So they can be virtual guests. They don't have to be physically there. They can still experience the wedding and the celebration, watch you walk down the aisle, you know, watch you make your vows and all the celebration and all the dancing by just being in their house or wherever it is they stay at the time. So definitely my advice would be prioritize in terms of knowing who exactly you would want to be there. And also anyone that does not make it to the list of physical presence can join virtually. They can still be a part of your wedding. We've had actually over the last few weeks, and we had a wedding that was coordinated, and the guests, they could only have 10 people physically. I mean, by the time you have your maid of honor, your best man, the bride and groom, that's full already. And then myself officiating, you have the priest and another assistant. Nobody could attend, but the entirety of the guest list was virtual, and it was actually so much fun. It was quite interesting to organize, quite interesting to watch everything fall into play. But it was very interesting. So it is possible to still have fun, still be a part of the celebration of a wedding when you're virtual. Definitely, it is still possible. So yes, that would be my advice. And prioritize, and whoever that cannot make it should go virtual. They should be virtual guests, and that's totally okay.
Hi, Mercy. Sorry about that.
You're okay.
I'm running up and down. I have to run downstairs again. I've got a delivery coming. That's okay. So I totally missed that. I will catch up myself, though.
That's fine.
I caught a little bit of it. I have to run back downstairs again.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I can keep you up in a way anyway, so it's fine.
Okay, I'm going to have to run down. So I just had to run down, and he's not there.
No
I'm
worries.
expecting delivery. It's always the way, isn't it? If it's not one thing, it's another. So, okay, so now I'm going to let you take over for about 5 minutes because I can hear the door knocking.
Yeah,
okay, so I'll be back in a bit. Mercy, you carry on talking. 2 minutes, okay? Okay.
No worries. Okay, so I think the bulk of our conversation last night was talking about COVID-19 and what weddings are going to be like post-COVID. Obviously, the first question that Jackie was asking me there was about numbers. So certainly numbers for weddings, for events in general, for anything that is happening indoors, the numbers are going to be a lot smaller, and we would need to adapt to that. So the numbers, the guest list certainly would be a lot smaller than what we're used to. A lot of people might want to have, let's say, for example, 150, and they can't, because it's not just a case of having smaller numbers in the venue. Also, the hotel should be able to accommodate those numbers with social distancing in place, you know, the 2-meter rule. So you'll have hotels with smaller rooms that cannot accommodate, you know, a certain number of people. So it's getting used to that, and shortening your guest list is definitely priority going forward. But I believe that can also be done, you know, like I said, you have some of your guests virtual, you have some of your guests on ground, absolutely perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. Also working with the hotel to know, or wherever it is the ceremony is being held. Not all ceremonies happen in hotels, to be honest. Working with the options of having things done outdoor, because there's a lot more capacity and space for outdoor events these days. So I believe outdoor events will continue to increase, and people would continue, especially with the fact that, you know, the 100 limit that we're about to have in about a month's time is to say that including all the staff, including everybody, you know, it's like we cannot be a more than 100 in a particular room. So that's going to be quite tough. And I can see that leading to people moving things outside as opposed to inside. Obviously, we live in Ireland, weather dependent. Really depends on the season of the year you want to get married now. But there's definitely going to be increase in outdoor weddings. And people would be becoming a bit more safety conscious now. I know, for example, I have a friend who, as a makeup artist, doing a makeup rehearsal, and you know, the makeup artist has already said, I would come in my PPE and I would come in, everything sanitized and gloves and all of that. So we're definitely going to be a lot more safety conscious. So it's totally okay if you have a guest at your wedding who has a face mask. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel as if that's definitely gonna, you know, it might become a style now. People would go, you know, make it all fashionable as well. So that's definitely going to start happening, and there'd be nothing weird about it. It's just like, oh, that's normal.
I've actually seen quite a few posts on Pinterest and Instagram where the brides are wearing face masks. Thanks so much, Mercy, for talking. I caught quite a bit of that. There's been a few comments that's been coming, and I don't know if you've actually seen them.
No, I can't actually see the comments here.
Okay. Well, Kerry here said that should always be the focus. And she also said the virtual piece is a great record of the event, which is very, very true.
Very true. Very true.
Very true. And Emma has asked, how do you involve the guests virtual? Is it a big screen, or how does it work?
So it's a big screen. It's a big screen. Yeah. Cool.
And then Kerry's also made a suggestion: fancy dress weddings. That's actually a really good idea.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like it would be normal now to wear face masks and all everything else. Like, and people would go very fashionable about it. Like you said, there's been some on Pinterest and people, you know, guests actually using the material to sew face masks, and it's quite pretty. And that's going to be the new norm going forward.
Absolutely. And Sharon has come in, and she said, if restrictions continue, do you think more couples may opt to marry abroad where restrictions may not be so strict?
To be honest, with the way things are at the moment, there's still a bit of travel restrictions, obviously, and I believe couples are going to be a lot more safety conscious as opposed to just getting married, right?
Mm.
So let's say there's countries that are not strict with regulations and safety and all of that. I would still want my guests to be safe. And that's what I tend to hear from all the couples that I'm working with is I still want people to come and have a good time and at the same time be safe, as opposed to we just elope, get married, and we don't know what we're going to come back with, that kind of way. So it really depends on who the couple are. But I tend to hear more safety consciousness
Yes.
rather than let's just go get married.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers the question. But obviously people are different. People might still want to have a big party and do it somewhere else where it is allowed to do that.
Yeah. Well, and with an outdoor wedding, it's much more possible, especially say with marquees and outdoor catering. That even allows for the Irish weather as well. So, like if it's a beautiful day, but there's thunder forecast, we know that we can run under the marquee. And I think it allows us to bring the indoors out. And I think that's going to be a really good way for people to celebrate their weddings, or just even milestone
events. Yes,
which is another thing that you help with as well, isn't it, Mercy?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I kind of just wondering, and I don't know whether you spoke about this while I was running in and out there. I just wanted to know, how do you feel that, the whole restrictions, the whole COVID and everything has affected the wedding industry, both the suppliers and the couples?
So for the couples, majorly, there's been a lot of postponement of weddings. At the start, definitely, it was quite scary for some people, because, I mean, the couples where they've had to cancel their wedding twice based on different things, could be financial, and now having to cancel again, like it's quite sad to do that. And especially when you're counting down, like, okay, 4 more weeks to go to my wedding, and all of a sudden you can't get married again. All of a sudden, maybe your parents are coming from abroad, they can't travel in. So it was a very sudden shock to all of us that events and weddings couldn't go on. So for the couples, I believe it has been quite heartbreaking in some ways, especially the ones that I've worked with. And it's been a lot of challenge as well, trying to postpone and replan. You have to contact all the vendors, you have to contact all the hotels and everybody to make sure the date is still available. So that has been a challenge. But at the same time, it's been quite interesting actually, because there's the option for some people, they've gone ahead with their wedding, they've had a small civil ceremony. But it just goes to show, and some people have decided, no, we still want the party. So it just goes to show, like, there is an importance to celebrating your wedding, your big ceremony with your friends, with your family. And it's not just a case of, we just want to get married. Some people are just like, we just want to get married, we're going to go ahead with it and maybe have a party later. So there's been a mix of that going on. I know Weddings Online did a survey recently, and 88% of couples have actually pushed out their wedding to a further date. And that is quite a huge number, quite a huge number. It really goes to show that we love to celebrate love. And that is a great thing. That's a really, really beautiful thing. So that is definitely affected. Also, working with suppliers, working with hotels to reschedule has been challenging in some ways, especially emails, because a lot of hotels are not open to even start with. So it's like you have to send emails back and forth. So that has kept us busy. But definitely we're about to be the busiest next year. I believe next year is going to be a very busy year for weddings, and weekday weddings are going to increase. People would want to get married in between the week. Does not necessarily have to be a bank holiday or weekend or anything like that. I can see people getting married Monday all the way through to Sunday. I think that is definitely happening at the moment. Anyway, like when we're rescheduling, there's a lot of Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Mondays weddings, and it's no.
Emma has asked a question. Have you had anyone really think outside the box to deal with the restrictions? That's one of the
So
things.
the thinking outside the box that I have had is the virtual guest at the moment. Obviously, we're constantly discovering ways to be creative in all of this. But so far, it's been having your guest virtual has
Yeah,
been the way that we're going about it at the moment. But
I thought
because
so.
we're also used to like the lockdown and the restriction and everything is quite new. So we're all in the process of, put your thinking cap on and let's be creative because there has to be other ways that we can do things with the restrictions in place. So
Absolutely.
definitely it's something that we're looking at to
Yeah.
accommodate. But
I've
one
got.
thing is, sorry, go on.
Go on, go on, go on. No, no, no. I'll ask you the
Yeah.
question. I have it there.
Oh, right, that's fine. What I was just going to say is that one thing we always try to do is the advice, but also make the wedding or the event about the couple. So there's obviously I'm married, so my wedding is long gone. So we always try to make sure that it is about the couple. So it really depends on what they want. Like we encourage creativity, we encourage people to think outside the box. But if they want to stay status quo and they want to stay as is, that's completely fine as well. I would come in and celebrate your day with you as you want it.
Excellent. I just had a thought thinking
That's
outside
all
the
right.
box, right? And it's just a thought, and I'm wondering, I wonder how well this would go down. Like line dancing, country and western line dancing. But could you sort of like put X's on a dance floor?
You could.
And sort of say, okay, everybody could do, was it, or all those dances that people dance together with, like a flash dance or something. On a dance floor.
That's a great idea. Absolutely.
I was just out of the box thinking, but that kind of stuff you could do, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Just to sort of accommodate the whole restrictions and still celebrate,
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Now, Mercy, is there anything that you would like people to know, things that maybe we didn't cover yesterday on our Twitter chat or that you haven't covered in this interview because I was running in and out? So.
It's fine. To be honest, I think we were very good with the Twitter chat. I would obviously just want to say that we with Bashly Events, we do consultations for free. So anybody can call us and ring us up and just to even your first consultations, all this, we don't charge for it. So just to even source us out, and see if we're the right fit for your wedding, because I really believe in the right fit all the time. It's a job. So we've been hired to do our job. So we got to be the right fit for it. It's quite important. I just wanted to mention that. And also with the restrictions in place with weddings, with events, love is not cancelled. Like that's one of my favorite hashtags on Instagram, actually. Love is not cancelled, which is so true. So celebrations can still continue. You can still continue to have a very, very good time. Yes, with a smaller number, but honestly, it would still be a perfect day. It would still be a perfect celebration. Nothing is going to take that away, because the way I see it and the way I've kind of said it to a lot of my clients is, you get to wear your wedding dress, your photographer gets to be there, your caterer is there, everything is there, just a smaller number, which is completely fine. So it will still be beautiful whenever that day comes. It will still be a beautiful day. It will still be perfect. Enjoy the day. That's pretty much it. Like just enjoy your day.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And sometimes a more intimate wedding can lead to more fun, even though the numbers have been restricted. I think sometimes it can lead to that little bit of uniqueness, on a smaller wedding rather than a big grand wedding. But that's only my sort of take on it. And just picking up from what you said there about choosing the right suppliers, I think it's really important. And I think a lot of and you can correct me if I'm wrong because this is your business, but I think one of the troubles that couples may be having right now is, because their first chosen supplier may be busy on their rescheduled date. They're running around trying to find somebody else. But it's really, really important to remember to find a supplier that you can actually work with, who's on the same level,
So true.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and there's plenty out there to choose from.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if
So
you're,
they become a part of your day. Like, you don't want somebody who's gonna piss you off, like, excuse
yeah,
my language. Like.
no, it's true. You don't want that at all. Like, so I think, like, if you're the supplier that you chose, if that supplier happens to be busy on the day that you've rescheduled your wedding, and if they're not working with somebody like yourself, referrals become, penultimate. They're the best that you can get.
Absolutely.
Because we're only going to refer you to a supplier that we are comfortable with referring in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay. Kerry's just left a comment here. I hope people do more virtual to include those who cannot make it. Even though it is nice to celebrate in person, it's even better to be included. That is so
very
true.
That is so true. That is so
very,
true.
very true, Kerry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, right. We've come to the end of our little live interview, and it was definitely and it was definitely live with me having to run in and out. That's not normal. Mercy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Jackie. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Lovely chat yesterday and nice chatting to you today. And thank you everybody that joined and commented. I can't see your comments, but Jackie was reading out to me, so that's perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And next week we have Michael, guitarist. I can't think of his surname. He's going to kill me. Classical guitarist, and he's our featured business next week. So do join us for that. And again, thank you very much, Mercy. And we shall all see you soon. Thank you, Emma.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.